Hello everybody, it's Saskia here from Little Bunny Bakers. It's lovely to see you. I'm very excited today to be making some pastry jam tarts with you. Rosie, my mascot here, is ready. She's sitting on a nice colourful rainbow to give us all a little bit of hope at the moment. Jam tarts, when I was growing up, was always one of my favourite recipes to make and to eat. And you can use any sort of jam, and you're going to need 80 grams of plain flour. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of icing sugar, 35 grams of butter, and 20 millilitres of water. I'm just going to show you the world's sweetest measuring jug. Look at that. Sweetest jug you've ever seen. The world's smallest measuring jug. So let's get started with a song. Everybody ready? Welcome to Little Bunny Bakers. It's nice to see you here today. We're going to have a lot of fun baking. So come on, let's bake. Hooray! Okay, let's get started. My sleeves are rolled up. My paws are washed. Have you washed your paws? Nice and clean? Brilliant. Okay, we're going to start by pouring our flour into our bowl. I like to have all of my ingredients weighed out before I start, just to make it a little bit easier. If you're baking with children, which I'm guessing most of you are, you can have them involved in the weighing out bit as well, but it does help once you get started. So we've got the flour in the bowl, and then we're going to get our butter, and we would like to cut this up into strips. So at the moment it's just in wide sort of pieces. So we're going to make a bridge with our hand like this, like a tunnel, and the knife is going to be a train that goes through the tunnel. So we hold our butter and we sort of rock the knife like a bit like a rocking horse inside the tunnel, and it chops the butter into 2 pieces like that. And we do the same with the other 2 chunks. So cut that in half. And this one as well, final one. And then once they're in half, you can use your knife to chop them into smaller pieces, or you can just use your fingers to pinch and pop them in. Pinch, pop them in. Pinch, pop them in. There we go. Now, today, because you're baking along with me, you are all bunny bakers. All bunny bakers. It's lovely to have you. But bunny bakers are also very good treasure hunters. Are you good at finding treasure? Now, I want you to imagine that the butter in our bowl is treasure. And you're going to go hunting for the treasure with your fingers. So you're going to go hunting. And when you find a bit of treasure, I want you to pick it up and break it in half and drop it back into the bowl. So you're going to find the treasure, break it in half, pop it back in the bowl. There we go. Now all of our lumps of treasure will be getting smaller and smaller as we go. Smaller and smaller. Butter's nice, isn't it? We like butter. It's a nice jolly colour. Yellow is the colour of butter. Lots of colours in food actually. Jam is red. Lemon curd is one of my favourites, another yellow. Can you think of any colourful jams? What flavours might they be? Marmalade, yeah, that's orange. Nutella, chocolate spread. We'll have that in our jammy category. Yeah, that's brown. Lots of different colours. In fact, food is so colourful. It makes it so fun, and it often makes me think about the rainbow song. So while I'm breaking up my treasure, we can sing the rainbow song. Red and yellow and pink and green, orange and purple and blue. I can sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too. Okay, so my treasure has now got quite small in the bowl. So what we want to do next is we're going to hold our hands out like we're getting a present. And when somebody gives us a present, we have to say, thank you very much, with a big smile on our face. Let's say it together. Thank you very much. Now, with our present hands, we're going to put them in the bowl, pick up a bit of flour and butter, and with our thumbs, we're going to push it back in. This is called rubbing, and we're making something called breadcrumbs. So we pick it up, and with our thumbs, we push it back in. Pick it up, push it back in. There we go. Now in a moment, I'm going to be adding our sugar to make our sweet jam tarts. But if you wanted to make savoury tarts with perhaps an egg filling, make some little mini quiches, then at this point you would just leave out the sugar and perhaps put a little pinch of salt, and you would have a savoury short crust pastry. So it's getting smaller and smaller as I lift and push it back in. Yours should be doing the same thing. And what we're looking for is for our mix to turn a slightly golden colour. Okay, so when it turns a slightly golden colour, you know you're almost there. Let's have a look here. I'm making sure that there are no big lumps left. This can take a little bit of time, but just enjoy it. It's all a journey. It's not about the destination, although jam tarts as a destination isn't a bad destination to get to. There we go. What I'm not doing, I'm not squeezing. I'm not squeezing because my hands, you might have heard me say this before, are very hot. Our hands are 37 degrees, and if we squeeze our pastry, all that lovely yellow butter will start to melt, and we don't want that. So we're just touching it very, very lightly and pushing it back in. Okay, I'm happy with mine. Can you see it's changed colour, and now it's a slightly golden colour? That's exactly what we want. So at this point, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of icing sugar. If you don't have any icing sugar, don't worry, you can just use caster sugar instead. So 1 tablespoon of that. And then with the knife that we use to cut the butter, we're going to mix it in. That's it. And now we're going to add our water. So that was 20 millilitres of cold water. There we are, all in. We give it a nice mix with our knife. The reason I like to use a knife instead of a spoon is that knives are much easier to wash up. Now in my weekly classes, I've been lucky enough to have lots of lovely children come along, and until we broke for our little break here, there were 34 children coming along every week. Well, if I'm running 6 classes and 34 children, that's 40 wooden spoons I'd have to wash every week. And I do all my washing up by hand because I don't want to age any of my equipment. So that's a lot of washing up, so I find knives a lot easier. So you can see it's all lumpy now. We don't want to overmix at this point, we just want it to be lumpy. Then we can pull the rest off the knife and put it to one side. Okay, we're moving on to the rolling. So before you start, you want a little bit of flour in a bowl, and you're just going to get a little bit of flour on your hands, okay? And then a little bit of flour on the surface. And then we're going to get our rolling pin, and we're going to dust that with flour as well. So there's a nice layer of covering. If you have time at this bit, you could pop your dough in the fridge for 15 minutes or so to harden up. But if you're really gentle, you can do it straight from making it, that's fine. So we've got it in a nice ball, and we're going to put it down on our floured surface and gently tap it down just a little bit to get it started. Now we're going to get the rolling pin, and very gently we're going to be pushing it back and forwards and back. We're not at a building site drilling. we're not drilling today, we're rolling. And our hands are like feathers. They're really light, they're so light that we're not pushing down, we're just gently moving our rolling pin back and forwards. might want to turn your pastry round halfway. Make sure your hands and your pin are dusted and gently roll again. And we're aiming for the thickness of what we say a pound coin. So about pound coin thickness. Yeah. That's looking good, we're almost there. We're hoping to make 6 tarts from this recipe. There. Okay, great. So now I've just got a shallow baking tray here and my cutter. You can choose to use a straight side or the wibbly wobbly side. I think I prefer the wibbly wobbly side. It just makes it a little bit more fun. So I'm going to go to the edge, push, wiggle, and then lift it up. And then with my knife, I'm just going to slip it underneath to help me pick it up. And then I'm going to lay that inside my tin and with my fingers, just gently push the bottom. Like that. And then you're going to repeat for the next 5 circles. So you cut it, gently scrape it, gently tap it in. There we go. Now, because I'm showing you on the video, I'm going to stop at 3 and decide to make my toppers. Now, you don't have to have a top, you could just have jam. And if you don't have a cutter, you could get a bit of paper and cut a shape you like, and then cut around the edge of the paper. This one is a Play-Doh cutter. I borrowed from my daughter's Play-Doh kit, which has been washed. And this is just a flower cutter. So you can choose if you have any cutters. It's quite fun to make tops. So I'm going to cut 6 tops with my cutters. I think I'll do 3 flowers and 3 hearts. There we go. Remove the extra pastry. And then you're going to get your jam. Now, I don't know about you, but I love raspberry jam. It's my favourite. So I'm going for a lovely raspberry jam today. And I've got 2 spoons. I've got a scooper and a scraper. So 1 spoon scoops and the other spoon scrapes. I use this when I make my buns and cupcakes as well. I find it makes a little less mess. So I'm going to scoop some raspberry, scrape it in, scoop a bit more, scrape it in, scoop a bit more, scrape it in. If I show you, I'm going for just over half a teaspoon, okay? Just over half a teaspoon. You don't want too much, otherwise when it heats it will spill over the side. But you want enough to have a nice good taste of it too. Right, so we are almost done. We've got our jam in, we've got our pastry, and now we just need our lids. So here's my little lid that I've made. That's a flower. Pop it on top and give it a little tap with your fingers. And the others. There we go. And that's going to go into a preheated oven for 12 minutes, okay? Now, very important, when you take them out, please make sure they're nice and cool because the jam inside can get so hot. I know I've burnt my tongue many a times with excitement to eat the jam tarts, but they're just too hot. So just wait a moment and then they'll be cool enough to eat. Well, we've made it. We've got to the end. Thank you so much for joining me for Little Bunny Baker's Let's Bake Jam Tarts. It's been lovely having you here with me. I like to finish my Bunny Baker sessions with a song, and it goes like this. Little Bunny Bakers, we've had some fun, we've baked a lot, now it's time to say goodbye. Goodbye everybody. If you're following the series, our next bake will be monkey cakes. Here's one I made earlier. Monkey cakes, absolutely delicious. They're chocolate and banana cakes, all marbled into one. So that'll be really fun. So come and join me again for Little Bunny Baker's Let's Bake. Bye everybody, bye.